What if the picture-perfect family we've been seeing on screen isn't as perfect as it looks? What if behind the smiles and holiday lights, there's a power struggle brewing between a father desperate to prove he's still loved and a family quietly pulling away from him? Tonight, we dive deep into the moment. Everything changed for Cody Robin and their daughter Aurora, because what happened next had fans gasping and questioning everything they thought they knew about this family. As the camera fades in and the music hums softly under the surface, we find ourselves watching a family that once looked perfect on screen, but now feels like a fragile house of cards, one small breath away from collapsing. There is something about this new season that feels different, almost like everyone is pretending to smile while holding back a storm inside. And as the scene opens, Aurora, the young woman who has always been sheltered, steps into a moment that should be filled with joy, but instead turns into a spectacle of tension and awkwardness. She reveals to her parents that she has a boyfriend, a simple announcement for most young adults, but in this household, it becomes a dramatic declaration, like the walls themselves are listening, and the air is too heavy to breathe. Cody sits across from her, smiling too wide, too forced, as if he wants to claim ownership over her happiness, and Robin watches closely, trying to balance the moment between excitement and fear. Aurora explains that the man she has been seeing has asked her to be his girlfriend, and she said yes. A beautiful moment turned strange as Cody leans in, pretending to be supportive, but his eyes flash with something else, something unsettled. He asks questions that sound more like tests than curiosity, and suddenly what should have been a celebration becomes a ceremony of permission. The kind of permission a father in a polygamist culture might think he still has, even though the world outside has long moved. Aurora tries to stay calm, her voice trembling between pride and discomfort, and Robin smiles gently, but her eyes reveal she knows this conversation is not normal. It is layered with control and nostalgia for a world that no longer fits the one. They live in. Cody jokes about how the young man should have asked him first, a half laugh that barely covers the sting of his ego, and Robin quickly adds that in the world they live in now, no one needs permission, but even she cannot hide the flicker of uncertainty in her tone. The tension is visible and uncomfortable because it feels like this family is performing a ritual they don't believe in anymore. Aurora nods politely, trying to steer the conversation back to something simple, but Cody keeps dragging it back to himself. He wants to be part of the story. He wants to be seen as the wise protector, the one whose blessing still matters. And as he speaks, his words slip into old patterns, talking about protection and values and faith, without realizing that his daughter is an adult who does not need saving. The irony is that Cody once claimed to have left behind the strict rules of his past, yet his every sentence proves he is still chained to them. It is in his tone, in the way he talks about her boyfriend as if the relationship is a threat rather than a milestone. The viewers can feel the discomfort through the screen, and Robin's polite smiles can't hide it. She tries to redirect the energy, but Cody continues to turn the spotlight on himself, making it less about Aurora's happiness and more about his control. The moment Brody, the boyfriend, is mentioned, Cody's entire posture changes. His eyes sharpen, his voice tightens as if he is preparing for competition. Instead of conversation, Brody, from what we can tell, seems kind, respectful, even a little nervous, but Cody's presence makes the air heavy. He cracks jokes that don't land and offers advice that sounds more like warnings. His words are wrapped in politeness, but underneath them is a tension that everyone can feel. Robin sits between them, watching as Cody tries to reframe the entire situation so that he becomes the hero of the moment. He talks about how as parents they must be careful, as if he's protecting Aurora from a danger that doesn't exist. And Robin nods along because she's used to smoothing over these moments. But even she seems to be running out of patience when the conversation shifts toward faith and values. Aurora mentions that she and Brody have been praying together, thinking about their future, and the moment she says that, Cody lights up as if the word prayer has given him permission to turn this simple conversation into a sermon. He begins to speak about relationships, purity, and responsibility, echoing the teachings he once claimed to outgrow. It's almost haunting because his voice carries that same rhythm, the one used in those long old lessons about obedience and purity and respect, the same ones that once defined his life and controlled so many others. Aurora sits there nodding quietly, but you can tell she knows she's being lectured, not spoken to. She tries to smile, but her expression fades each time her father goes off on Another tangent about how relationships should work according to his own rules, even when Robin subtly tries to intervene. Cody keeps pulling the conversation back to himself as if he's competing with an invisible ghost from his past. He doesn't realize that the more he speaks, the smaller everyone else becomes in the room. And as the minutes pass, the tension grows heavier. When Brody finally arrives later for Christmas, it should be a joyful occasion. But instead, it becomes a stage for Cody. To perform, he greets Brody with exaggerated warmth, the kind that sounds almost sarcastic. And he immediately begins drawing attention to himself, making jokes about how nervous Aurora must be about her boyfriend's visit. Robin tries to guide the energy towards something lighthearted, but Cody won't stop. He teases Aurora for being nervous, then says she must be embarrassed as if he's trying to expose her vulnerability to the cameras. And again, Robin has to step in gently, saying that Cody's humor isn't helping, but he keeps going as if he needs to prove that he's still the dominant personality in the room. Brody handles it well, smiling politely, laughing at the right moments, staying respectful through the awkwardness, but it's clear he's walking on eggshells and the audience can feel it. The entire energy of the scene is so uncomfortably self-centered that it's almost difficult to watch, and yet you can't look away, because this is where the truth begins to show. Through the cracks, you start to see that Robin's patience is thinning, that Aurora's discomfort is real, and that Cody's confidence is just a mask for something deeper. Maybe regret, maybe insecurity, maybe both. The more he talks about being a protector, the clearer it becomes that he's trying to protect his own image, not his daughter's heart. And when Robin quietly mentions how times have changed, and how Aurora doesn't need permission to love who she wants, Cody doesn't respond. He just stares for a moment as if trying to find a way to twist her words back into something that fits his narrative. He forces a laugh, but it sounds hollow, and in that silence you can feel the distance growing not just between him and his daughter, but between him and Robin too. They used to look at each other with understanding. Now they look like two people pretending to still believe in a story that no longer makes sense. And when Aurora says she's happy, Cody smiles, but the smile doesn't reach his eyes, because for him, happiness that doesn't revolve around him doesn't feel real anymore. He needs to be the center of every narrative, and in this moment, he isn't. That's what makes it so powerful and so sad all at once. This scene that should have been about love and growth becomes about power and control, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. The uneasy laughter, the forced affection, the subtle glances that reveal the truth hiding beneath the surface, that this family is no longer a family united by love, but by habit and fear of change. And as the camera lingers on their faces, you can feel it. Something big is coming. Something that will make everything that follows impossible to ignore. The air inside the Brown household feels thick, almost like every breath carries the weight of years of secrets, misunderstandings, and the desperate need to look perfect for the world. But that perfect picture is cracking, and with every word, Cody speaks, those cracks spread wider, because instead of celebrating his daughter's happiness, he keeps dragging everyone into his endless need for validation. It is Christmas time. The lights are dim, the tree sparkles faintly, and the camera pans slowly over the family trying to act normal, trying to look festive. But beneath the twinkling lights, the tension is impossible to hide. Aurora looks radiant, nervous, but happy. Her boyfriend Brody sits beside her, trying to blend into this complicated family. Dynamic Robin offers cookies, smiles gently, and tries to smooth every awkward moment. But Cody refuses to let the peace settle. He keeps interrupting, making jokes that no one laughs at, turning simple gestures into performances. He comments on everything, on the decorations, on the presents, even on the way. Brody looks at Aurora as if searching for reasons to remind everyone that he is the man of the house. His voice dominates the room even when no one asks for it, and the more he talks, the more it feels like he is trying to outshine his own daughter on her special moment. The tension builds slowly, like a drumbeat that keeps getting louder, and the audience can feel it in their chest. This isn't about Christmas or love, it's about control. It's about a man who cannot stand not being the center of attention. And as the night goes on, the mask starts to slip. Cody tries to compare the way Brody looks at Aurora to the way he looks at Robin. His voice full of pride, as if no one could possibly love the way he loves. And in that moment, Robin's polite smile fades. She glances away, almost embarrassed, because she knows what the viewers know, that the love Cody speaks of is not what it once was. It's performative, hollow, built on memory instead of emotion. She tries to deflect the comment, but Cody presses on, asking questions that feel inappropriate, calling attention to himself again and again, until even the silence around the room starts to feel heavy. Brody shifts uncomfortably, and Aurora forces a laugh trying to hold the evening together. But it's clear she's overwhelmed. Cody's fixation on being the ideal father and the perfect husband only exposes how far he's drifted from both roles, and Robin sees it. She can feel it every time he interrupts her, every time he tries to force affection in front of the cameras, every time he reminds her of what she no longer feels. The story that was once about family now feels like a play where everyone knows their lines, but no one believes the script anymore. And then the conversation takes an unexpected turn when Aurora mentions a small gift that Brody gave her. A pocket knife meant to symbolize trust, protection, and care. But before she can even finish explaining, Cody seizes on the moment, turning something sweet into something uncomfortable. He begins talking about chastity, about purity, about the idea of protecting each other from temptation, and the entire mood shifts from lighthearted to painfully awkward. Robin's eyes widen slightly as if she knows exactly where this is going, but she can't stop it. Cody launches into a speech about how dating should work, about how a man must protect a woman even from himself, and how touching before marriage is wrong. He speaks with authority, the same rhythm of old lessons from the faith he claims to have left behind, and the words echo like ghosts of their past, haunting the room. Aurora listens politely, but her expression reveals she doesn't agree. She's just trying to keep the peace. Brody looks lost, caught in a conversation he never signed up for, and the audience can sense his confusion. He's being respectful, trying to navigate this strange lecture about morality that doesn't fit the world he lives in. But Cody's tone makes it impossible to breathe. The air feels heavy, like everyone is walking on the edge of something that could collapse at any moment. Robin steps in, softly trying to ease the tension, reminding Cody that Aurora is an adult and that she can make her own choices, but Cody waves it off as if her words don't matter, and that's when it happens. The line that changes the mood completely. He says that if a man kisses a woman before marriage, he is kissing another man's wife. The room freezes for a moment. Brody blinks, unsure if he heard it right. Aurora fidgets in her seat, embarrassed, and Robin closes her eyes as if wishing the moment would disappear. Because everyone watching knows that phrase doesn't belong in this world anymore. It belongs to the past, to the teachings of a faith that controlled every thought, every emotion, every touch. And now Cody is using it again, without realizing how much it reveals about him. He hasn't escaped that mindset, no matter how many times he says he has. And in that moment, it's clear to everyone in the room that Cody's idea of love is still tied to ownership, to control, to rules that make him feel powerful. And as Brody nods respectfully, trying to respond, the awkwardness becomes unbearable. He says, "Yes, sir," trying to be polite, but you can see in his eyes that he's completely lost. Cody keeps going, talking about protecting Aurora, about boundaries, about marriage and commitment, and how real love means restraint. But the way he says it sounds rehearsed, like he's performing for the cameras, not for his family. And when Robin finally interrupts to say that they just want Aurora to be happy, it feels like a small act of rebellion, her tone calm but firm, as if reminding him that love doesn't need to be managed or controlled. Cody pauses, looking at her for a moment, his expression unreadable, and then he forces another smile and changes the subject. But the damage is done. The room feels different, now colder, quieter. The kind of silence that hides unspoken thoughts and questions no one dares to say out loud. Aurora looks at her mother, silently thanking her for diffusing the tension, and Brody just sits there quietly waiting for the moment to pass. But inside you can tell that everyone feels the same thing, that this moment exposed something that was always there beneath the surface. That Cody's words are not just outdated, they are a reflection of how lost he's become, trapped between who he was and who he pretends to be. The rest of the evening drifts along in that strange energy. Robin offers cocoa. They talk about presents and traditions, but no one really relaxes. The conversation feels forced, and every smile looks painted on, as if everyone is trying to hold the illusion together for one more night before it all falls apart. And when the camera catches Cody looking at Robin, there's something desperate in his eyes. He wants affection, validation, proof that the love he's clinging to still exists. He leans in, trying to make a joke about mistletoe, hoping she will kiss him on camera, and she laughs awkwardly, shaking her head saying that it's not mistletoe and that she doesn't want to make a scene. But her smile doesn't reach her eyes, and the rejection, though, small slices through the air like a knife. Cody laughs it off, pretending not to care. But the disappointment lingers, and everyone feels it. Even the viewers watching from home can sense the emptiness behind his forced grin. It's the look of a man realizing that the affection he demands isn't real anymore. And the woman beside him knows it too. Robin has learned how to smile through discomfort, how to keep the peace, how to let him believe whatever story keeps the cameras rolling, but deep down, she's already disconnected. The warmth between them has faded, replaced by obligation and habit. And as the night fades into soft background music and fading light, you can almost feel the invisible wall between them, growing taller, stronger, impenetrable. This isn't the story of a happy family anymore. It's the story of a man trying to convince the world and himself that everything is fine, while the people around him quietly start to move on without him as the lights dim and the echoes of that awkward Christmas night fade away. What remains is not the image of a perfect family, but the reflection of people caught between love and loneliness. Cody's desperate need to hold on to something that has already slipped through his fingers becomes the unspoken truth of so many families who mistake control for connection. Robin's quiet grace, her measured words, her silent pain reveal a woman who has learned to survive inside a performance that no longer brings her joy. Aurora represents hope, the new generation unafraid to see love differently, to define it on her own terms. And Brody the outsider becomes the mirror, showing them all how unnatural their world has become. By the time the night ends, nothing explosive happens yet. Everything has changed, because when the truth finally settles in, silence speaks louder than words. The camera may cut, the scene may fade, but the audience is left haunted by what they saw. The illusion of perfection has cracked forever, and no matter how many lights they hang next Christmas, no matter how many smiles they practice, the truth will always shine through the fractures they tried so hard to hide.